Here's Lemieux. The center penalty coming up. Look at Lemieux. Oh my heavens. What a goal. What a move. Lemieux. Oh baby.
The inbounds pass comes into Jordan. Here's Michael at the foul line. A shot on Elo. Good! The Bulls win! They win! Set the Cleveland Cavaliers. Michael Jordan hits it at the foul line.
There are few moments that are significant enough to change the trajectory of a professional sport. But one such moment occurred on June 9th of 1984 in Montreal when, in front of a live television audience for the first time in NHL history, the Pittsburgh Penguins selected Mario Lemieux first overall.
Premier choix de Pittsburgh, numéro 66, Mario Lemieux.
Lemieux was a generational talent with a blend of size, speed, and skill that warranted a struggling Penguins franchise to purposely lose for a shot at drafting him. Mario was a projected poster boy for a league demanding the attention of an American audience, and he was supposed to embody a shift in the paradigm of North American sports. But just 10 days after Lemieux was introduced as the face of the Pittsburgh Penguins, the Chicago Bulls were preparing to select third in the NBA's entry draft. As Commissioner David Stern stepped to the podium to announce the selection, he had no idea of the impact that would follow.
The Chicago Bulls pick Michael Jordan of the University of North Carolina.
In 1984, the NHL and NBA were moving in opposite directions. The National Hockey League had seen a surge in popularity following the 1980 Olympics when the United States won gold, dubbing the Miracle on Ice.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Unbelievable.
The NHL was hoping to capitalize on that momentum along with new television deals and promotional events. On the contrary, the NBA had stalled out in the late 1970s due to a lack of game-breaking talents and ingenuity. In that time and through the early 80s, some of basketball's biggest games were being broadcasted on tape delay, triggering outrage among fans. A war was waging between the two leagues in a fight to grow their games while generating revenues, and though basketball fans might claim that the NHL was never even close to outgrowing the NBA, further stagnance could have created a window for hockey to take its great leap forward. While Jordan would become the most transcendent athlete in sport and pop culture history, leaving the NHL in the dust, Mario Lemieux subtly paralleled Jordan at every turn. The NBA outshined the NHL in becoming an international sensation, but neither sport would be the same without their towering superstars. Jordan and Lemieux surged out of the gate in their opening seasons. Mario made his debut October 11th with one of the most legendary first shifts in NHL history.
There is Mario Lemieux, and he is off, racing in all alone. Lemieux, his first shot on goal, and he scores!
2 weeks later, Jordan would make his debut, flashing his jaw-dropping skill in front of the Chicago faithful.
Quickly in front court to Jordan, looking for penetration, spin move, hangs in the air, off the glass, and it is!
By season's end, Jordan had become the second rookie in history to average at least 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. His electric play style was exactly what the NBA was lacking, as he immediately became a household name throughout the league. To correspond with his success on the court, Jordan and his agent David Falk negotiated a deal with Nike to produce a Jordan-branded sneaker labeled Air Jordan.
On September 15th, Nike created a revolutionary new basketball shoe. On October 18th, the NBA threw them out of the game. Fortunately, the NBA can't stop you from wearing them.
The original projection for $3 million in sales over 3 years was smashed as the sneakers sold $126 million in just 1 year. Meanwhile, Lemieux's endorsement deals were not nearly as lucrative or noteworthy.
Look, Mario, I have a blazer just like you do.
Come on, let's take a ride in the real thing.
Wow.
Remember, you can always count on a friend of Clucy Chevrolet, just off I-79 at the Pittsburgh exit.
To his credit, though, Super Mario and his Blazer would cruise through the season with 100 points in 73 games, quickly becoming one of the top players in the NHL. Both players' dominant freshman seasons earned them hardware as Rookie of the Year in their respective leagues, but it was only the beginning.
Michael strip, got it back. 3, 2, Michael falls, fires. Yellow!
He does it again!
The Bulls win! He looks at the crowd at the buzzer!
By the end of the 1987-88 seasons, both players had solidified their statures in their respective leagues. Lemieux and Jordan both captured their first MVP trophies that year, but had lacked the team success that would propel them into true legends of their sports. Over the next 3 seasons, the Pittsburgh Penguins and Chicago Bulls would arm themselves with supporting casts capable of competing for championships. Jaromir Jagr would establish himself as an elite player alongside Lemieux to round out a roster that would feature Paul Coffey, Mark Recchi, Kevin Stevens, and Larry Murphy. Not to be outdone, the Bulls had assembled their own collection of talent as Jordan and Scottie Pippen headlined a roster with Horace Grant, Bill Cartwright, and John Paxson. For both teams, it was finally time to contend. On May 25th of 1991, the Penguins beat the Minnesota North Stars 8-0 to capture their first Stanley Cup in franchise history.
Time runs out. The Stanley Cup has come to the city of Pittsburgh. The 1991 Stanley Cup champions, the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Just 2 weeks later, Michael Jordan countered with a championship of his own, winning the NBA Finals for the first time in Bulls history.
And the Chicago Bulls have won their first ever NBA championship.
The teams would follow their first championships by repeating in 1992, as Mario and Michael would also capture their second consecutive playoff MVP awards.
It's all brand new to me. I just found out last Monday, so I'm sure as the week progresses, I'll be able to cope with it a little better.
1993 would bring a major shift between the two players. In January of that year, Lemieux was forced to step away from hockey due to the stunning revelation that he'd been diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. But just 2 months later, he astonished the hockey world when he returned to the Penguins lineup on the same day he finished his radiation treatments. Mario's return would inspire the Penguins to an NHL record 17-game winning streak. Despite that feat, the Pens would ultimately lose in the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, ending their hopes at a three-peat. But in Chicago, the dream was still alive as Michael Jordan would lead the Bulls to a third consecutive NBA title, nabbing his third playoff MVP trophy in the process. Later that summer, and just as the 1993-94 season was about to commence, Michael Jordan shocked the sporting world as he announced his retirement from the NBA at the age of 30 to pursue a career in baseball. The retirement came in the wake of a whirlwind summer where his father James was tragically murdered while sleeping in his car. Michael's transition to baseball served as an ode to his father, who always envisioned him as a professional baseball player.
My father kept kind of hinting towards me playing baseball. Stop playing basketball. Why don't you give your baseball a shot?
Jordan would spend 1 year playing minor league ball before returning to the NBA ahead of the 1995 playoffs. His return generated a remarkable amount of buzz and would lead to one of the most memorable pregame introductions of all time. Jordan quickly returned to pre-retirement form and led the Bulls to another 3-year run of NBA championships, closing his case as one of the greatest professional basketball players to ever live. After his brief venture into professional baseball, Jordan would embrace his stature within the NBA, becoming a significant ambassador for the league as they recreated their image. His return would take the league to new heights, even dipping his toes into acting, appearing on the silver screen in the classic Space Jam.
Pardon me, Mr. Jordan. Could I have your your John Hancock?
What's going on here?
We need your help!
On the other hand, Mario's acting chops needed a little work.
Since he was 15, Mario Lemieux has skated 11,000 miles and scored over 600 goals. But he's always used one aftershave.
Cool, refreshing Aquavol.
It's something about an Aquavol for me.
After his remarkable battle with Hodgkin's lymphoma, Super Mario's presence in the Penguins lineup was spotty. The toll of radiation treatments paired with years of back issues forced Lemieux to miss large chunks of Penguins seasons. To coincide, the roster that surrounded him would also start to weaken as the Penguins franchise would slip into financial turmoil. These factors ultimately led Lemieux to step up to the podium and announce his retirement in 1997, as Jordan would follow suit 1 year later, retiring for a second time in 1998. Three years after his initial retirement, Mario Lemieux would shock the hockey world again, announcing he was coming back to the Penguins lineup. His revival generated hype across the league, leading into his storybook return on December 27th of 2000.
Yager, Herdina, Yager with it. Lemieux in the middle, Lemieux!
The comeback was heavily inspired by his son Austin, with Mario reportedly motivated by a desire to dominate in front of his firstborn. But Mario's return would also spark intrigue on another level. Shortly after his retirement in 1997, the Penguins became financially insolvent and formally declared bankruptcy. Ownership was still on the hook for several contract deferrals on their balance sheet, including Mario's, as Lemieux was owed $26 million when the Pens filed for bankruptcy. Mario would leverage this situation into a $20 million equity stake in the new Penguins ownership group. His return marked a significant development in the sports business world, as Lemieux became the first player/owner in North American sports history when he dominated the Leafs on that December night. Not to be outdone though, Jordan would utilize his massive career endorsement earnings to purchase 10% of the Washington Wizards. He also assumed the position as president of basketball operations upon entering the organization, but when Jordan decided to return to play for the Wizards in 2001, he was forced to sell that stake in the team due to an NBA-mandated rule that an owner cannot play on a team. MJ eventually became an NBA franchise owner again when he purchased the Charlotte Hornets in 2010 for $275 million. Today, both Lemieux and Jordan have sold the majority of their stake in their franchises, each achieving wildly different levels of success at the helm of a professional sports team. The Penguins have won 3 Stanley Cups under Lemieux's tenure, while Jordan's Hornets/Bobcats have struggled mightily. With this success, and for the first time, Mario overshadowed Jordan in proving his ability to revive the Penguins and lead them to greatness, but he also became a trendsetter, as many professional athletes would follow in his ownership footsteps. When Michael Jordan and Mario Lemieux entered the world of professional sports in 1984, it acted as a sliding door moment for each of their respective leagues. MJ redefined the NBA in introducing basketball to the world, all while becoming an international star. Mario's impact would never quite reach the same heights, but his success and relentless determination would mark two of the greatest comebacks in sports history while becoming one of the greatest hockey players to ever live. Both players led their teams to championships in the same seasons until Jordan took the Bulls to unparalleled heights, but Mario would set a standard in his post-playing ownership career, saving the only franchise he ever played for. Without Mario Lemieux and without Michael Jordan, North American sports would not be the same.
And now a word from Michael Jordan. This month's McDonald's Burger of the Month is the McJordan Special.
Like I said,
A quarter pound of beef with cheese, smoked bacon, and tangy barbecue sauce. The McJordan Special. Talk about a crowd pleaser.
Saturday night, the Pens take on the Montreal Canadiens, and it's Mario Lemieux life-size poster night, compliments of Thrift Drug. All fans 16 and under receive a life-size poster growth chart featuring Mario Lemieux. Growth chart courtesy of Thrift Drug. Saturday night, the Penguins host Montreal. Come, watch the Pens grow. Then go, watch your kids grow.